Welcome back to another TSW suggestion video. Today, I'm suggesting the North London line of the London Overground for Trains in World 2. If you want to see the North London line or the London Overground in general in TSW2, like the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. The link to the suggestion on the forums will be in the description of the video, so go to the forums and like the suggestion there to show DTG that you want this route. I'm suggesting both the North London line and the West London lines in this suggestion. The North London line runs between Richmond and Stratford. It connects with the West London line at Willesden Junction and the East London line at Highbury and Islington. This line would have 23 stations and it would run for 17.5 miles. It also runs 4 trains per hour, which means trains on this line run about every 15 minutes. Between Richmond and Gunnersbury, the District line of the London Underground runs alongside the North London line. Now, I don't think this would be a necessary addition, but it would be cool to see District line trains running along this portion. Now, I don't think it's worth the development time of creating the S7 stock for these few stations, but I think these trains could be layered on from a possible subsurface line DLC as AI services. The West London line would run between Willesden Junction and Clapham Junction. 4 trains per hour would run between Willesden Junction to Clapham Junction, with 2 of these trains continuing along the North London line to Stratford. This would bring the trains per hour along the line from Willesden Junction to 6. There are 6 stations along this line, and it runs for 6 miles before connecting with the North London line. The District line doesn't only connect to the North London line, as it can also be seen running alongside the West London line between Kensington Olympia and West Brompton. This is another instance of it being able to run on this line via possible layering. The London Overground isn't the only operator that runs services along the West London line. Southern also runs services along this line between Clapham Junction and Shepherd's Bush. The rail line would connect to the West Coast Main Line after Shepherd's Bush and run all the way up to Milton Keynes Central. The line uses the Class 377s, meaning they can be layered over from East Coast Way on this line, adding services. Southern operates 1 train per hour along this line in both directions. The London Overground lines would run the Class 378s. The Class 378 Capital Star is a variation of Bombardier's Electrostar series of trains. It is heavily modified for Metro-type services, some of these modifications being the longitudinal seating, pocket sliding doors, and a removal of the front gangways. These units are only used by the London Overground, and they are very similar to the Class 376s. As a part of the recent overhauls in the 378s, TfL implemented a new black livery for the 378s. It would be cool to see this livery appear along this route, as it would add to the variety and diversity in the look of the trains along this route. The specific subclass these lines will be using is the Class 378/2, as that subclass is the only one that is able to run on both third rail and overhead catenary power. As mentioned earlier in this video, Southern would use the Class 377 between Clapham Junction and Shepherd's Bush. This will be layered onto the route with the 377 from East Coast Way. I would really like to see working camera monitors on the screens in the trains and in the stations. It would just help with the immersion, and it would really work well after the improvements to the passengers are finished. This route could hold some interesting scenarios. One of the scenarios I thought of is a service change sending some North London line trains down to the lower level Bakerloo line platforms of Willesden Junction and having them terminate on the center track. I think this would be a great route to have in TSW2. The frequency of the services, with trains coming every 10 minutes on the Willesden Junction to Stratford section, would really make this route feel busy and like it's actually in a big city. And just the overall look of the route would sell it for a lot of people. Tell me what you think about this suggestion in the comments down below. If you want to see the North London line in TSW2, like the video so DTG can see the support behind the suggestion, and subscribe for more content. Like the suggestion on the DTG forums as well. Peace.